What to do when you are getting a hermit crab. Number one, you will need to get the correct size of a tank. It needs to be 3 times the height of your hermit crab, the biggest hermit crab that you have. So then your hermit crab can molt, and then it can grow into a bigger shell and grow up. I would recommend a 20-gallon tank or more. This is our old 20-gallon tank. This is our new tank, which is 40 gallons. When your hermit crab is molting, it needs to be completely submerged underwater. So you need to get 2 fresh water and salt water. Do not use tap water. You get some water conditioner. So then make tap water safe for fish, which is the same thing for hermit crabs. This stuff is also safe for tap water. So you just squirt some in one of the containers, and then it will be good for your hermit crab salt water. If you're getting this kind, just use barely any for if you're having that, because this is supposed to be for a big tank, which it's 5 milliliters per 5 gallons. So if you just want like a small container for your small hermit crabs, then just get like a little bit inside your little water dish. For the sand, you will need place sand and some coconut fibers. You add it to your substrate, which is your sand, and you can make it like good for your hermit crab. It's really good for the hermit crabs because it gives it like if they're at their own home. We don't have our food in here yet because we don't have our hermit crabs in here yet. We are letting it heat up. Our hermit crabs are outside in the heat, but you have to put a wet towel on top of the container. So then your hermit crab can stay, because it has to be a lot of humidity in there. Usually about like 85%. It's good. It's called Accurate, and it's really good for hermit crabs because it gives the actual like a good thing. We used to have this small circle one. Those sometimes don't give the right like stuff because they're really cheap. Here, let me find one. These usually don't like, yeah. This is Celsius right now because we accidentally changed it. But I think you just click the button on the back and it changes to Fahrenheit, yeah. That might be it. Yeah, see, it's not completely right, so the humidity might not be completely right. You don't want to scare your hermit crabs with a flashlight. If you need to use a flashlight at night, if you want to see them, put it up like that, so then you can see your hermit crabs, but you won't scare them as much. For food, you'll need to give them lots of different types of food. We have a couple of these bags, which you can get, I'm pretty sure, multiple versions. And this is their thingamabob, whatever it's called. This food, I heard, is really good for hermit crabs. And it's just two old hermit crabs. And we're going to try this food out tonight. And I'm going to try it and see if our hermit crabs like it. I would recommend you guys try it too. So yeah. Do not give them pellet food because this isn't really good food for them. If you get them at a pet shop, you can slowly give them this with a mix of some other food. Because their diet is towards this because they've been fed that their whole life. So they need to be slowly turned to regular food, which I give my fish, but some like raw chicken, lettuce, and bread. I heard was good, so we put some in there last night, which they didn't really touch any of their food because they weren't hungry last night. Sometimes they don't touch their food, sometimes they move a lot, but then they don't come out at night. Here's their food that we gave them last night. We gave them some breaded chicken, which I'm not fully sure is good for them, but my mom just put it in there anyways. Also, we give them oats. They really like it, so I would recommend you try them with your hermit crabs. Before you get a hermit crab, do not get painted shells. Painted shells are really bad for hermit crabs, and they are completely toxic. Also, snail shells are bad for hermit crabs because they don't have the right grip for a hermit crab, and they don't really follow the hole rule because you should go by the hole size and not the actual size of the shell. You go by the hole size, so then you can get the right size for the hermit crab shells. So yes. Don't give them the same food because they need a lot of varieties of food in their diet. They also love climbing, and ours really likes the spinning wheel, so I would recommend try those because they are climbers. They live on trees in the wildlife. Also give them a lot of hiding spaces. They love the dark. They are nocturnal, and I would recommend 80 degrees and 85% humidity. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but you can look it up because I'm just a kid and I don't know. Ours really love this dead leaves. You can get them from your backyard and put them in your oven, and you can cook them to make sure there's no bugs or bacteria in them. Yes, that would be really good for your hermit crabs because ours love it, and you can try that too. If you get shells from the beach, you need to wash them off with distilled water, so then you can make sure there's no bacteria in them that would hurt your hermit crabs. By the way, fish plants that you put in your fish tank are completely safe for hermit crabs, so far that I know. And yes, they really love climbing stuff. We got a couple of stuff. Oh, yeah, moss. Get some moss so then you can spray it when you first get it. But also, our hermit crabs love eating the moss. It's great food thing for them. So we just put it up there so then they can climb on top. Sometimes they knock it down, and that's how we know that they are eating it because there's little chunks of it everywhere from where they dragged it around and eaten it. Also, you need the right. Also, when you put your water thing, I would recommend putting a tub like around it. Like when you put it in, like put a tub in, then put the tubs in like that you want to use, like what's it called? Your hermit crab water dishes. You put it inside that little tub, so then so when you change out your water, the sand doesn't cave in. Also, for your hermit crabs to get in, if the sand is not high enough, you can just add little bridges right there, so then your hermit crab can just climb up, go in, get a drink, and then climb out if they want to. And yes. Sorry if I'm talking really fast. I'm just sometimes fast talking. My mom sometimes gives them flaxseed, which she says is really good for hermit crabs, so you can try it out too. This is the packaging for the accurate humidity monitor and temperature thing. We got two just in case. So here's the packaging if you want it. Also, they can go completely underwater. They have gills. That's why they need the humidity up high. So yeah. So we have other things in here. If you get shells at the beach, they like walking on them because it feels like they're at home. These are our currently live hermit crabs, and this is our dead one. I loved him. I miss him. His name is Galaxy, and his shell is over there because I kept the shell because we didn't want to put it back in because our hermit crabs are small and they don't really need that size of a shell. Also, this is like a shopping list. I would recommend just 20 gallons or larger. And don't get a heat light. unless if you're heating it up when you first get it, because the heat light is not really good for hermit crabs since they're not nocturnal. Also, get heating pads. That's a good thing that they get it. So our coconut fiber substrate, thermometer and hydrometer, which accurate is a good one. And large natural sponge, don't get that because they can just drink out of it and it molds if you don't wash it regularly, which it's really hard to because you have to wash it like once a day, which is like really tiring to do if you want to. And sometimes they're out all day and you don't want to scare them by getting in because sometimes you scare them and they might die earlier. 2 water dishes. Correct. A selection of empty shells. Yes, you need a selection of empty shells so when they molt or they just need a bigger shell, they can just go into a bigger shell. We have our old coconut hiding thing. We put shells in it to make a little shell shack thing. And where are we? A hide house. That's what you really need because they like darkness. A hide house is perfect for them. So yes. Prepared hermit crab food. Yes and no, because you don't want the pellet food because it's really bad for hermit crabs. It's hard for them to eat it, so don't really get that. Aquarium salt. Can't see that. Aquarium salt. I don't really know what that is, so water to chloride drops. Yes. You need that so you can use, we use tap water in this stuff because it's okay for fish, so it's okay for hermit crabs. So I'd recommend that. Also, here we go. A spray bottle. Where is it? Spray bottle. Yes, you need a spray bottle so when you first get it, you can spray it around because your sand might be really, really dry. So you might want to spray it like 2 sprays. But the water things should do the trick. As you can see, we're just heating it up because it needs to be really like whatever it's called, needs to be really hot in there, at least 80, like 79 or 80 degrees. Our old tank, usually we had it at 79 because it was too hard to keep it at 80, but I would recommend having 80 because our hermit crabs love it. When you first get your hermit crab tank, get some distilled water and just wipe it down, or purified water, which purified drinking water would be fine. You can take a towel, wet it with the purified water or distilled water, and just wipe down the sides on the inside of the tank, just so then your hermit crabs don't get, like, if there's chemicals on the tank, it doesn't get onto the hermit crabs and kill them. If your hermit crab is surface molting, get a, I don't know how many liters, 2-liter bottle or something, and then cut it off and like wash it out and then stick it in there. If your hermit crab is surface molting, just put some shells like around it, and so then sometimes it takes months for them to done molting. Surface molting is a really hard thing for hermit crabs. It is rare, but the hermit crab, when it surface molts, it's really dangerous for the hermit crab, so don't touch it. Just take it, put it in, like squiggle it around so then it gets down underneath the sand some, like inches or so, like 2 or 3 inches, and just stick it in there. This part right here, the open, leave that open so then it can breathe and it doesn't suffocate. If you want to know if your hermit crab is dead, if it hasn't moved in like 3-5 days or something, like in a while, make sure you have a camera. We are going to set up our camera soon, but we have a camera, and make sure you set up a camera and watch it at night, just to make sure to see if your hermit crab moves at all, because if it doesn't for like 3 or 5 days, it's probably dead. And if it smells like rotten fish in there, then it's probably dead. Like this guy right here, he died, and I'm really sad because he was our biggest hermit crab, and he was super active, and then someday he just stopped walking around for like 5 days, and then I got worried, so then I asked my mom to pick him up, and he fell right out of his shell. So that's basically all the things you need to know about hermit crabs. Oh wait, you need to know about how your hermit crab is gonna molt. I think I already talked about that, but if I didn't, your hermit crab, when it goes underneath and you're missing it and you don't see it, don't be alarmed, because it might be just molting. You can check in all the hiding spaces, as you can see in there. You can check all the hiding spaces to make sure it's not anywhere. If it is, then it's probably underground molting. Do not be alarmed. Just let it molt. A bigger hermit crab can take months. This one person's hermit crab, that big, took 8 months to molt. Yeah, and you'd be like, how is it going to eat? How is it going to drink? It probably came out at night, maybe. I don't know. That's what my mom said. Just make sure your hermit crabs are healthy, strong, and if it's not active during the day, it's because they're nocturnal. So, bye guys!